Well, a very pleasant good evening. And welcome to Startup Talk from Indian River State College, year 43 of this magnificent radio show with Tom Kindred.
My gosh, has it already been 43 years, Greg?
It just seems that long.
Time flies, right.
So how are you, man?
I'm doing good. Been a very full day. Big agenda today. A lot going on. So,
good.
So I'm happy to be here tonight. We can relax for an hour is what we can do now. Got a big graduation coming up this Saturday for my family. My son is graduating from Fort Pierce Central High School. So.
Yeah,
so we're very pleased about that, and he's soon to be a incoming freshman at Indian River State College.
All right.
That's right. So I got ahead of myself. I want to welcome everyone to another segment and installment of Startup Talk. Our show is designed to assist and help Treasure and Research Coast residents who want to start, grow, or accelerate their business. And as I always say, what a great place it is to own and operate a business along the beautiful Research and Treasure Coast. We will also spend time during our hour this evening to highlight and create awareness regarding the very powerful and robust business assistance programs that exist right here in our very own community at Indian River State College through what we call the Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute. I am Tom Kindred, and I have the privilege to serve the community as the director of the Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute. Our show, as always, is powered tonight by the Small Business Development Center at Indian River State College and our friends at Express Printing of Port St. Lucie.
And we can now officially say,
yes,
the Branding Your Business folks at Express Printing are moving to a newer, larger,
nice,
better facility.
Look at there.
On US 1 right across the Port St. Lucie Walmart. Better place to brand your business.
Good news, I guess, for the local marketplace. Businesses are doing a little better out there, some expansion in business. I had the opportunity to be down at a great partner of ours down in Stewart just yesterday, Paradigm Precision, a manufacturer that makes aircraft engine parts. So they're talking about needing to hire people, and so the news is good from out there. And as I was saying earlier,
are they located at the airport?
They are not. They're they're close to the airport, but they're somewhere right off of Indian Street there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Big news at the Kindred household. Like I was saying earlier, we've got a graduate that's going to graduate Saturday. Spent a year in dual enrollment at Indian River State College, so that's a great thing. He's got 12 hours under his belt. Save me a couple of bucks there, and so he'll start summer B as a full-time student at Indian River State College, and I can tell you that Indian River State College, and so I just sat back and watched. I didn't get involved. I didn't pull in any coupons or anything. I just sat back. Yeah. But I can tell you, Indian River State College did a great job with my son. He went in, met with an advisor, and told them what he was interested in, told them the degree he was pursuing, and they did a complete pathway for him. 24 months, he will have his degree, and he will move on to a state university.
Perfect.
So it was really a great testimony to what Indian River State College does for these incoming freshmen, these first time in college type students. Doing a great job. So it's all laid out. He's done. He doesn't have to think about a thing. He can focus on the classes. Doesn't have to worry about what he's taking next semester. All the semesters are laid out for him.
That is so cool.
I know. It was very cool. I was impressed.
Wow.
And he even kind of went back and made a little change, and the advisor adjusted and said, okay. And the advisor contacted the state university, to make sure that all the courses would articulate and move into the university system. So it was great. I'm telling you, impressive. So, if you've got a student looking to see what they're going to do after graduation, I would get them out to Indian River State College and let them meet with an advisor.
And
great experience.
With the young Floridians, this is the second year in a row that and of course I judge the jocks. I don't know where that came from. But anyway, the second year in a row that we have had a third year dual enrollment. Mm-hmm. and the young gal, the soccer player from Centennial last year, actually started dual enrollment in her freshman year.
Well,
You talk about a focused individual.
oh yeah, and
My
you know,
God. Oh.
and you know, and our guest tonight is Nick Brown. So jump in anytime, Nick, on this conversation.
Yeah.
Nick is the director of career pathways at Indian River State College. But you know, Nick, I had the pleasure and the opportunity and the honor of serving on the graduation committee, the commencement committee that helps administer and facilitate the graduation at Indian River State College. And I'm telling you, it is so impressive as those students go across the stage. And we had the largest graduating class, I think, ever this past couple of weekends ago. But I couldn't believe all the students getting their AAs at the same time they were graduating high school.
Diploma. Absolutely.
What an incredible program in our community.
Well, you know, to piggyback off, and first and foremost, congratulations on the Kendrick household.
Well, thank you.
for getting that graduate in there.
We have two graduates. I almost have a graduate from nursing school. She's closing in. So
Cool.
But thank you.
But you know, when you think about setting up that pathway that you were talking about, the guided pathway, you're also taking more of not just looking at where they're going to be going in the next 24 months, but also when it comes to financial planning. When you start thinking about those pathways that are going,
bet.
you can actually start now planning ahead of time from a parent perspective and also from a financial aid perspective of what is coming, how much money do I need to set aside, even with my job, when do I take time off? You know all this ahead of time, so it's going to increase your opportunity for graduation.
It's a great point.
Completion.
I just think it's great that he has a path. It's the best word. I mean, he can see the end. I'm sure he'd love to get out of the house as quick as possible from the get out of the nest, so he can really see the end.
But does Dad want him out quicker? Now,
Well,
let's lay the cards on the table.
if we're laying the cards on the table,
I hope he doesn't
Sure,
listen
he
to
could. He could feel free to move. But listen, he's listen. This last year, he's been a big help, and you know, when they get to this age, we can actually you can actually get some work out of them. They're good. They're productive. So anyway, so it's all good, and I was impressed. I just cannot say enough how impressed I was with the time they took with him, the advisor, and how she completely laid out those 24 months. Every semester's laid out.
Wow.
It's organized. He doesn't have to, again, he's not scrambling. What do I take next? What's the next course? Can I get the course? It's all there. So it's impressive.
And this is the best thing for the student, and it's the best thing for the college also, because now, even from a financial standpoint on the college side, we can plan and we know in advance what courses will be offered, and it just makes everything that much nicer for us.
I was impressed. So if the goal is to focus on these incoming freshmen and to be successful, IRSC has achieved the goal.
Absolutely.
Because again, and like I say, I just sat back and watched. I didn't call anybody I knew. I didn't. I just said, go see the
through
advisor
the process,
and let's see what happens.
Cool.
So,
I was watching the NBA last night and happened to see an IRSC commercial, the new ones. The new flight of commercials are very good. And, and it's,
you keep telling me that. I can't wait to see one.
The subjects are phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about how affordable it is.
Right.
A single mom, having to take courses at night,
Right.
that kind of a thing. It's really, really neat stuff,
Well, Michelle's done a great job with those. That's what I've heard, and you've been telling me that. So I'm anxious to.
And I am presuming the tuition isn't quite like Notre Dame's at $80,000 a year.
We're slightly less than that, I believe.
Slightly less.
Just a little, right?
Just take out about 4.
Yeah.
40.
You can remove. I think you can just start over at the decimal point and start moving it over. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's again. It's a great place to be, and I'm excited about him getting started, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. He'll maybe he'll he won't be too embarrassed. I mean, maybe we can meet in the KSU for lunch every now and again.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, and as you just mentioned too about the financial planning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's huge.
No doubt.
Because how in the world does a family plan? I mean, even if you have a child who gets a lot of scholarships, but even the young guy that we had this year, who was our first academy entrant, he's going to the Air Force Academy. but I mean that's $44,000 a year, and the military does not pick up all of it.
Wow.
So I mean, it's it's expensive.
Well, that's the one thing I love so much about the state college system, and specifically Indian River State College, is we've always wanted to be accessible. We always want to make sure that a normal person can afford to go to college, that
Right.
higher education is accessible to everyone. And we work with the schedules now. It's not a one-size-fit-all. We have multiple programs that are available at the college, and it's going to give, if there's a plan or if there's a program that you really want to go into or a career, we have it there for you at the college.
Yeah, no. Again, each and every day, more and more impressed with what goes on at Indian River State College. It's been a real honor and great opportunity for me to see it from the inside as a member of the staff there too. It's just an incredible place. It's an incredible asset for us to have right here along the Treasure Coast. I feel so good about him going there. I know he's going to get a great education. He's going to get a great foundation. The goal is that he can get that 2-year degree and then move on to a university. And you know what? If he doesn't want to move on to a university, maybe he just says, "Gosh, I just want to stay at home." He can also then pursue his 4-year degree there too.
I was
So
going to
it's a-
say,
yeah,
you've got
so-
4-year degrees
right.
here. Why leave?
Yep.
No, absolutely.
It's great. It's great. Well, I just want him to help me get some tickets up at Gainesville. I'm hoping he can help me get my football tickets back. So let's see a Gator game again.
You're so bad.
I kept hoping we'd be
You
bad
are
enough.
so
I kept
bad.
hoping we'd be bad enough last year to where tickets be available again. But we
my
actually won a couple
goodness.
of games and pulled off a couple of upsets. Yeah, can't get a ticket anymore now. So. So again, with that, I'll just take just a minute and introduce again our guest tonight, Mr. Nicholas Brown, Nick Brown. And Nick is the director of the Career Pathways Initiative at Indian River State College. And tonight we're going to talk about, again, as we always do, an incredibly unique, innovative program that is offered in the summer for students ages 14 to 16 years of age called The Quest. Great.
What?
The Quest.
Okay.
Great summer camp program opportunity. So, Nick, welcome to the show.
Happy to be back.
And Nick was with us just a couple of weeks ago where we talked about career pathways.
And notice Nick's the only return visitor we've ever had.
Well,
So-
Nick's with all the hot topics now at the college. So Nick may, who knows, he may be back next week too. But
Whenever you guys want me, I'm here.
Well, the Quest is kind of plays a role in this whole career pathways initiative. So I wanted to talk about the Quest tonight. But before we get there, just a couple of quick announcements. There's some interesting news recently that ties into a lot of things we're doing. But just recently, the Florida SBDC, kind of our mothership, so to speak, our headquarters up in Pensacola, our program in the state of Florida was recognized by the U.S. Secretary of Commerce. She presented the Florida SBDC network with the President's E Award for Export Service. It was done in a ceremony in Washington, D.C. I'm sure our director, Mike Myrie, was up there receiving the award. It is the highest recognition any U.S. entity can receive for making a significant contribution to the expansion of U.S. exports. And as our regular listeners may remember, we've had Emily McHugh on the show. And in our local SBDC office, Emily serves as an export specialist. And Emily will go out, meet with businesses, and she will help those businesses develop what we call an EMP, an export marketing plan. This is about an 80 to 100-page document that she helps the business create that allows that business to develop a global and an export marketing strategy, hoping to take their products, global. And it's actually a grant program too, very powerful program. Enterprise Florida actually collaborates and partners with us on this program, and they pay the cost to develop that plan.
Wow.
So the business has a small part of the cost they cover, but the majority of the cost, it's about it's a $4,000 plan, and Enterprise Florida covers $3,500 of that plan.
Wow.
That's great. And Tom,
Unbelievable.
the other day when you had your conference at the college,
Right.
she raised a lot of eyebrows when she was talking about that plan.
Right.
And there were a bunch of people taking copious notes.
I know. Well, it was interesting. Greg, it's so funny you say that because I promise you, for the first time, as I looked out into that audience the day we did that conference, I saw more people with their face down taking notes than I'd ever seen before. So I think we presented some great, meaningful, valuable information that day. So anyway, keep in mind the SBDC. Keep in mind that if you're in the right business, then Emily can help you with that export marketing plan. I also want to quickly highlight just so important these programs, and we're going to bring Paradigm Precision on the radio show here in the next week or two to talk about these programs. But in July, again, starting in July, we have another Fast Track to Manufacturing Industrial Skills Training Program. All right, this will be held down. It's in the evenings. It's held at the Paradigm facility down in Stewart. But it's a program designed for a student who wants to come in, learn the basics of manufacturing. And again, I met with Paradigm the other day, and here's Paradigm, a major manufacturer of advanced manufacturing technology down in Martin County, and they're telling me point blank, we need people. We have jobs. So, I stopped and I said, okay, tell me again. I really want to hear you. Are you that serious? And she said, Tom, I'm serious. We need people. So it's a great opportunity to get involved in this manufacturing program, which would allow you to learn the basics of manufacturing, which would give you the skill set needed to go get a beginning entry-level job in manufacturing in our region. And I'm telling you, the stories, I don't want to ruin the thunder, steal the thunder of Paradigm, but I mean, they're telling me stories of people making very strong salaries after a couple of years in the business.
Oh, sure.
Right? So I just want to throw these two dates out. We have informational sessions on this Fast Track to Manufacturing program. We have one on Thursday, June the 1st. That's going to be held in Stewart at the Chastain campus in the Wolf Center. So it's an informational session to talk about the upcoming manufacturing program. All right,
Tom,
that starts in July.
Is that free or is that?
That's free.
Okay.
The informational session is free. Come and learn about what's going on. That session will start at 6 p.m. on the Chastain campus, Thursday, June the 1st. All right, and that is to prep you for the July course that'll start at Paradigm. Then we have a Thursday, June the 9th informational session on the main campus of Indian River State College to talk about the program that will start in August. So we have two of these programs running. One starts in July in the evenings at Paradigm, Martin County. One starts in August. It's a daytime program on the main campus.
But is it also Paradigm?
Well, it's not at the Paradigm facility. It's at our facility.
No, but I mean, yeah.
But Paradigm's involved, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely. So, again, I just can't stress these programs enough. Fast Track to Manufacturing, really allowing students. We've even got some high school students that are taking the course down in Martin County.
I'll bet you do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because now again, here's a high school student who may not, be ready to enter college, may not be looking for a degree at this point, looking to get into the workforce. This is the way to do it.
But if they're focused on manufacturing, what a way to go.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's great.
And we talk about, and there's nothing wrong with a student getting involved in manufacturing, getting that job, and then beginning to work on their degree.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
and getting these skill sets early is what we've seen historically, and the data has proven it, this is what's going to get someone into the workforce and help our economy out. Getting industry-recognized certifications at an earlier stage of your career gives you that opportunity that if life gets in the way, you can still make a living for yourself.
So, absolutely. So if you're looking to build a technical career that offers good pay, growth opportunity with established employers, I mean, Paradigm's one of those established employers, then you need to come to these informational sessions, jump on the manufacturing fast track program, and earn your way to a rewarding and challenging career. Again, you can always go to that irscbiz.com site and get more information. Okay? All right, so fast track to manufacturing. A couple just quick notices on some upcoming trainings. Business insurance for small business. That's going to be held May the 24th on main campus. brought to you again by SCORE and the SBDC. Financial record keeping and reporting for small businesses. Chastain campus on May the 25th in the evening, 5 to 7:30. Again, SCORE, SBDC, and the SBA. And the final class is Marketing Your Business. Be held at the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce, May the 27th. Again, SCORE and SBDC. And as always, I want to highlight those courses, those business courses, are all free. There is no charge to attend those business courses. I encourage local businesses. I know it's tough. I know it's difficult to get away from the operation of the business, and we talk an awful lot about that concept of, you have to take time to work in the business, but you also got to take some time to work on the business. Mm-hmm. And this is about working on the business. Take some time, go to that IRSCBiz.com site, click on that events calendar, and look at the upcoming business training events. I tell folks all the time, and I mentioned it that morning. I think one of the things I said that morning as I introduced our program, some of the most valuable education I've received and the greatest assets I have are all the bad decisions and mistakes I made in business. Mm-hmm. And had I taken the time, had I known about it, and had I taken the time to become engaged in and participate in these business assistance programs offered at Indian River State College, I am confident I could have been a better manager, owner, and operator. The college, its president, Dr. Massey, and the board of trustees have done an incredible job of building what I call a very powerful one-stop shop for business assistance and support through the Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute. The EDI, as we call it, is made up of the SBDC, the Business Incubation Program, and the CCTI, the Corporate and Community Training Institute. You can always get more information on all those entities by visiting the IRSCBiz.com site. And as always, a big thank you to the SBDC and their consultants for the work in assisting and supporting our region's business community. So with that, we will start our conversation and welcome again to the show, Mr. Nick Brown. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Now, again, Nick, take us real quickly before we take our break, but talk to us about the Career Pathways Initiative. So start us there, and then when we come back from the break, we'll tie in the quest.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me back. I appreciate it. And, the Career Pathway Initiative, as I said last time I was here, is a national trend. It is an opportunity for education to connect with industry. And at the end of the day, that's where it all comes down to. Making sure that we help our students connect the dots from education to the workforce. The Career Pathway Initiative looks at the 16 major career industry or clusters that are out there, and it connects that to how do we build curriculum? How do we organize our programs at the college? How do we make sure that if a student comes in on day one, like your son, and says, I think I want to go into this area or this field, we give them the options, but we make a very clear pathway for them to understand each step of that way to get them to that point. Connecting industry certifications, connecting financial aid and literacy to that, making sure that they have the appropriate skills that are necessary to move forward. All of those things are embedded in the curriculum, are taught in the classroom, are reinforced when we're doing career placement, and actually working with the industry partners to say, this is the product that you will have when our students graduate.
And you bring up a good point too when you say work with the industry partners. I think one of Dr. Massey's, obviously he has a lot of strengths, but one of his really great strengths is the ability to build very powerful partnerships.
Yes.
I mean, you can't really.
He's been doing that for years.
Yeah, I know. You can't walk 20 feet, on the campus without seeing some evidence of another partnership.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about those partnerships. I mean, it's very obvious, and you got them.
Yes. I mean, we're partnering with the school districts. We partner with local businesses and industry leaders. We partner with the workforce development groups and career source that are out there. I mean, it is an all-encompassing approach to helping our economy be stronger and better for the future.
Right. And those partners, I mean, get real value out of these things too, out of these partnerships and the collaboration also, because they're getting this steady flow of potential employees and team members.
Well, like you said, Dr. Massey and our group, we really work hard to make sure we connect the dots of return on investment. If they're going to invest in a building, if they're going to give scholarship funds, if they're going to give their time, effort, and skills to us, they need to be able to see the return that they will receive.
Right.
That return is a great, knowledgeable, skill-based employee.
Right. Excellent. Yep. All right, with that, we'll take a quick break, and we're going to come back here on Startup Talk and continue our conversation with Nick and talk about the Quest.
Express Printing in Port St. Lucie is proud to present Startup Talk from Indian River State College. You see Express Printing in its new US 1 location in the Chris Plaza, just south of the Boulevard across from Walmart, is the one-stop shop for entrepreneurs throughout the Treasure Coast. Whether you're starting a business or building one, Express Printing can offer insight on how to separate you from your competition. Let Express Printing help you rebrand your business as well. The backbone of America is its entrepreneurial spirit, shared by Express Printing and Indian River State College. Express Printing in a newer and larger facility to assist entrepreneurs. Express Printing, 878-7975. That's 878-7975. Express Printing. Look for the red sign that says, "We come to you."
And we are back. This is Startup Talk. I am Tom Kindred from Indian River State College's Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute. And we are talking tonight to Mr. Nick Brown, the Director of Career Pathways Initiative at Indian River State College. Nick was on a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about the career pathways, and really a powerful philosophy of trying to help students get on a pathway, stay focused on their goals and objectives, and really helping the community by really creating a very powerful and robust workforce.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Having this form of education start up, I think when we're looking at the Career Pathway Initiative and the guided pathway system, really is working for students to put the end in mind first.
Yep.
What is the goal, and let's work our way backwards.
Yep. Nice. So now the reason you're on tonight is we want to talk about a very innovative and unique program, I think kind of somewhat exclusive to Indian River State College, called the Quest. So talk to me a little bit about what is the Quest? What's this program all about?
Well, the Quest is basically taking this whole concept that we've been talking about in career pathways and condensing it into a 3-week summer camp for students.
Nice.
Now, the students that are involved are basically between the ages of 14 and 16. And the reason that I push for this young age that we're hearing about is something just as simple as just a few weeks ago. We saw a national survey through the Harris Interactive Foundation come up. And they said 92% of 7th and 8th graders said that they wanted to go to college, that they were ready. They knew they were going to go to college.
Wow.
92%.
That's pretty strong.
92.
Wow.
But listen to this, guys. 68% said they had little to no information on college.
So I'm actually surprised. 68 is pretty high.
But if you think about it, that means they know they want to go.
Right.
They just don't know how to get there.
Right.
They don't have the path to get there. So what we wanted to do is to try to fix that problem, to give them that pathway. So even though we know these students are going into academies at the high school, we know that we're talking to the students at the high school and middle school level. We want to reinforce that in the summertime, and that's where you see the Quest come about. The Quest is a 3-week window. We're going to make sure these students get a chance to learn about the 16 career clusters, but we're also going to work with them on those soft skills, those things that our industry partners, like we were talking about before, are saying, hey, you guys make great products, IRSC, but we would love if they would be able to communicate a little bit better. We would love to see them more in leadership roles, work in team type of scenarios a little bit better, have more of an entrepreneurship type of philosophy or spirit about them. Right. So when we listen to our business partners, we say, okay, we got you. We hear you loud and clear. Now let's put this into the curriculum. Let's help these students and reinforce this at this early age so we can make sure these students are prepared and ready to go into the next level. So that's what this camp is all about.
How long have you been doing Quest? When did you
Well, we
start
started the camp pretty much back in 2010. And it was actually interesting. There was a high school that asked us to do maybe like a tour,
Right.
if the best way I can put it. And it was a series of tours that was going on at the college. We used to actually call that the Techno Tour. And it was focused on technology and emerging technologies. So we liked that. We enjoyed it. But we said, hey, we're receiving this really well. The students are enjoying it. The parents are enjoying it. The school districts are enjoying it. So what do we need to do to make it go to the next level? So we said, okay, let's really put the spin on our career pathways and guided pathways. Let's introduce the full gamut of the 16 career clusters. Let's showcase these programs and make sure students have time every single day to go to the business department and work with people like you, Tom, or the dean or the other faculty. Then they get a chance to go over to the health science department and learn about the different health clusters and health programs that are out there. Go to public safety and learn about what's going on over there. And then start opening the eyes of these students to really say, yes, I can do this, and it's right in my own backyard.
This has got to be an incredibly powerful program for these 14 to 16-year-old students. Now, is it 3 1-week camps, or is it 1 3-week camp?
Good question. It's a 1 3-week camp.
Okay.
We thought about breaking up, like you said before, but it's a little bit too much information.
I was going to say, a lot to jam in a week.
So it's still very tight for those 3 weeks, but it works really well because as we give all this information to the student, it really gives them an opportunity to blossom, grow, and get prepared for the next level.
What's been the reception of some of the kids that have gone through this?
On a personal level, we've had students coming in. Just to give one example, there was a young man that came up to me a couple years ago, and he always said, I always wanted to go into health, and honestly, I wanted to be a nurse, but I thought only girls were nurses. And but this is,
right.
A seventh grader,
Absolutely.
And after going in there, we had some guest speakers in there. Some of our male nurses were in there talking to the students. And they explained that when you're in the hospital or you're in a human services type of field, you need the diversity. You need the different genders there.
Sure.
You need someone there to represent you. And when people see that, or when patients see that, it makes them go at ease. It makes them feel better. So we were able to show that young man just right there that anything's possible. This program is available for you, and that's what he's doing. Right now, he's in the HOSA Academy at one of the local high schools.
Great.
And going toward to become a RN nurse.
Right.
That's amazing. That's a great story.
Oh, yeah.
How long are they in? I'm just curious. How long do they? Is it Monday through Friday?
No.
It's Monday through Thursday.
It's Monday through Thursday.
And what are the time frames?
They'll be there Monday through Thursday, 8:30 a.m. in the morning till 12:30 p.m.
Okay.
The camp actually starts on June 6th, so it'll go from June 6th through June 23rd. So
how many students can you fit in there?
Normally we have somewhere. Our max is 15 students. Usually we max out easily. Sometimes because of just a year, it may be 13 or 14 students, but normally we have the full 15.
Okay, that's a great opportunity. Do you have students that? Do you have kind of a line at the door waiting to get in this camp, or do you struggle sometimes to get the students?
Sometimes we do struggle, especially when it's getting close to the end of the year. When we're at the end of the academic year, students are thinking about finishing up, summer, having fun, things of that nature. So when we start pushing this, it comes a little slow at the beginning, but then we get a rush at the last minute the time to get these students in.
Okay. And again, I'm assuming the school system is probably very supportive of this program.
They love it.
Right.
Like I said, it reinforces everything that we've been talking about at the high school level and in the late middle school level. Mm-hmm. And it pushes the academic academies, the CTE Academy, Career and Technical Education Academies at the high school. So when we're talking about all this, we're laying the groundwork for these students to start getting into their academies and into their programs of study through high school.
All right. Talk a little bit about, Greg kind of asked how the student kind of changes, but talk about maybe a previous student who's moved towards their career goals that was sparked by the Quest, program?
Well, I think the biggest thing, like I said, when I gave you that example of the students saying they want to go to college, a lot of us have that idea that I know there's more out there for me. And it starts very young. We know this. But the question is, how do I get there? And that's really the big push for the Quest. So when we're working with students, especially, for example, let me give you another example of what's gone on. We've had a lot of young ladies that have come through the Quest program. And part of what we do is focus on STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And we start talking to these young ladies also about, have you thought about going into an engineering program or going for a degree in mathematics or going into architecture or something to that nature. And when they start seeing this and we start connecting the dots, like I always say, then all of a sudden you see the light come on. And then you start showing the students that, hey, you can do this too. It is where your passion is. It is what you enjoy doing. It's what you would do even if you didn't get paid to do. But we make sure they know they can get paid doing these jobs. So it all helps out. And one thing
maybe you guys do.
And one thing I want to add to this, and I want to make sure everybody who's listening knows this, that this camp is totally free to our students. The Research Coast Career Pathway Consortium that I chair, we have, like I said, put our money where our mouth is. We look at the return on investment. We see that this helps our students, and it is open to the Quad County area student population.
Wow.
But there's no charge for this camp.
No charge whatsoever.
So they're basically on scholarship.
They're on
for
scholarship.
The camp.
Right. That's right.
Wow.
Now, obviously, students, I'm going to assume, need to be from one of the 4 counties in which the college
service area. Right? Yes, so that'll be Martin County School District, Okeechobee School District, St. Lucie County, and Indian River County.
Okay. And when I think about main campus, and I think about all the things that are available on the main campus, the kite center, the green screen room, the videography program, the robotics program on the first floor, and I think about the labs and the Brown Center, and think about the health sciences. I think it's the Fields Health Sciences building, and the labs in there, and the dental program in there, and the nursing labs. I mean, do they really get kind of an in-depth tour of all of these things? I'm going to assume.
Absolutely. Yeah. You should see these students especially when they go into the health science suite. And they have the patient simulator in it. It really scares the kids because these patient simulators, they blink, they can talk, they can breathe. They basically can do everything you and I
want to go on that tour. I haven't seen that.
Out. And we give them a chance to learn how to take a blood pressure, little fun things, listen to heartbeats, things to that nature. We can actually have the patient go into cardiac arrest, and then we can work with the students and say, how would you save this person? Whoa. What can you do? And if you save them, great, you get an A. If you fail, don't worry, we can reset and start again.
And these are kids 14 to 16.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really fun for them. They really enjoy it.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Now, do you bring in any speakers? Would you like me to speak on entrepreneurship?
Definitely.
It's good. See, there I go. Got another presentation.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. We try to get individuals from the IRSC to come, obviously, but we also try to go to our business partners in the community, and we ask them to come in. So, for example, if we're doing something with radio broadcasting, we would have someone from
Greg?
Maybe Carol.
Right.
Wouldn't be me.
Somebody who actually is in the business, right?
But
we'll
have individuals from every different area coming in to talk, and it's great because it's one thing to have an educator sometimes saying these things to the students, but when they have the individuals who would actually be hiring them, telling them what they're looking for, what they need. It's almost like I'm a parent now. My son's 4. Sometimes when he hears something from someone else, it resonates a little bit more. I don't know why, but it does.
Well, sure.
You're just dad.
I'm just dad.
Been there, done that.
Agreed. And I want to make sure now. I'm going to put my pitch in now, Nick. I want to make sure, having learned what I'm beginning to learn about the manufacturing community in this. In our marketplace, I'm telling you, I want you to have multiple speakers from that industry.
Definitely, we'll get it. We'll definitely work with you on that.
I just think it's such a we just kind of don't. It's kind of a hidden hidden industry out there. We don't see much about it. It's really been an agriculturally based economy for so many years, but I'm really learning and spent some time again just yesterday down at Paradigm, and the opportunities are really quite surprising and actually quite encouraging in our community for students. I'm very encouraged by what I see.
Well, I think part of the discussion, especially with these young people, is to shift the conversation. When you think of manufacturing, we still have that 1950s, 1960s thought process in our mind.
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah, good
But
point.
I mean, now we're looking at basic computer skills or high-level computer skills, making sure that they can communicate and work in teams. And also, from the entrepreneur standpoint, knowing that what you're doing is not localized anymore. You're in a global economy. So now we have to have our students thinking from a global citizen type scenario and a global employee type scenario. So all these things that we're working with these students on is not just based in just our area, even though that's important. It's taking them to the next level and saying, what's good for the state, what's good for our nation, what's good for the global economy.
Yeah. No. Again, and you're so right too. And it's something. It's a basic concept that we teach now. And even when I was in school and took some business courses, global engagement was really the last chapter. And if we got to that chapter, okay, we got to it. If we didn't, we didn't. But now it's like chapter 3. The global workplace and the global economy. And so it's certainly definitely an issue we have to cover with the young people to let them know that it isn't just about our region anymore. So again, main objective behind the camp. I mean, what we're really trying to do what with these students?
Well, we're trying to expose them, number one. We want to expose them to the different degrees and careers that are out there. We feel that if a student is aware of what's actually available to them, then they can make good, solid decisions. It's just like when you're buying a car. You want to start asking all the questions. You want to find out what's under the hood. You want to find out all the doohickeys and light bulbs that are going off on there. The same thing with education. What are the goods, the pros, and the cons of this type of career? Why should I go in it? And make an argument on behalf of the career to the student. Because these students are coming in, even at a young age. This new generation, they're looking at themselves not as students, but as customers. So we have to make sure that we explain why this education, this pathway is important and can help them achieve their goals to it.
Well, too, and I guess a great point here is that at 14 to 16, I can't remember my ages. That's basically maybe a freshman, sophomore, maybe a junior, but probably not. Probably more freshman, sophomore.
Well, it's so interesting. If time is of change. When we were in school, that is perfectly what you just said is perfect.
Right.
Nowadays, with dual enrollment and all those things out there, some of these students are almost seniors in high school and things to that nature.
You're right.
Long story short, traditionally they are the 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th, 11th, and getting into that area.
So they've come onto the campus over a 3-week period during the summer. They've been exposed to and introduced to multiple career choices. Now they could actually go back to high school. And like I think you said earlier, now they have the ability for 1 or maybe 2 years of high school really prepare themselves for the career path that they would choose. So now they're not confused day one on the campus. They come day one to IRSC really prepared.
Yes, and and this is the thing that I love so much about this camp, because it gives us really the opportunity not just to talk in a philosophical sense, but to really embed what we've been talking about to these students. And one of the things that we have found that's really important for being successful in life is, how do you deal with budgeting? So one of the things we cover with these students is financial literacy. How do you deal with the family budget? How do you deal with financial aid packages? What's the difference in a subsidized or an unsubsidized Stanford loan? How do you start saving once you start making money? Then after we get into that, we also go into the soft skills. How do we communicate? Let's get them in public speaking. Do we work on leadership roles? And yes, we do. We rotate our students through. Sometimes you're the leader of the group and sometimes you're the follower. So you have to be in both areas. Critical thinking, problem solving, entrepreneurship. All these elements are worked on over these 3 weeks that we're with these students
Wow.
to
That's
make sure
great.
they get all the things they need.
So
to
it's
be
not
successful.
it's not purely just introduction to the career path. You're
No.
actually working on some real meaningful skill sets.
Yeah, we're treating the whole person in this.
Right.
You know, it's funny, going back to one of our young Floridian winners, she was a dual enrollment kid at IRSC, and she was saying, basically, when she loved IRSC, and she said the students there were so mature. She said, when I went back to Centennial, the kids drove me crazy. But she loved
Yeah.
and really absorbed the college life, and it was totally different.
Hey, it's interesting with our students. Many of them, of course, at this age, they've never written a resume. In some cases, being a first-generation person of their family, their parents have never taught them or know how to write a resume.
Right.
So we work with these students on resume writing also.
And again, I think that I've always been impressed with the entire, department and program we have at Indian River State College too that helps students in that area. We've actually got a lab they can go to, have their resumes reviewed.
Yeah, and actually that's where we take them to Career and Transitional Services over in the
Okay.
W building on the main campus. And we work with them on resume writing, what should and should not be in a resume. But we also take it a step further. How do you dress? How do you interview? How do you bring yourself to the interview? Do you, the old-fashioned handshake, eye contact, things to that nature? I mean, this generation, they're so used to, using that cell phone and doing all those things that way. We want to bring in the human touch. So we want to make sure that these students have the soft skills. When we say soft skills, this is what we're talking about. We have treated the whole student to make sure that they are prepared to be successful for a career, but in life in general.
Yeah.
And the dress for success is all the difference in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and it's so obvious the day that you're doing the Young Floridians interviews. I look up and you see all these very professionally dressed, which you can clearly recognize are students. They're not adults, so Young Floridians is happening in the building that day. So, and I guess another. I think critical component of this program is really exposure to the college itself, just in general. Because how many people in our community don't really understand just how, how powerful the resource is that we have in Indian River State College.
Well, I want to make one point with that, adding to what you're saying. I never like coming on your show without giving you some numbers, and you know that now.
Yeah.
But
We love data. We love data.
Exactly. 88% of the students who have gone through this program, we've had over 113 students in the last few years. 88% of these students enroll in dual enrollment when they're eligible for it. Now, these are middle school going into high school, so this is before dual enrollment eligibility. So these students are going in it because we're talking to them about the opportunity, the money savings, all the things we talked about before. 25% of these students attend IRSC. Some of these students, of course, are still in high school, but after dual enrollment, they're attending IRSC. And it's interesting, 19% of these students already have earned an AA degree.
Wow. I mean, pretty telling signs about how successful the Quest program is. And now again, is this somewhat unique to Indian River State College? Do you know of other state colleges that do kind of an introductory camp onto the campus?
Some school districts and some other colleges have some type of camps that are out there, and some of them hit on some of the same things. You may hear like freshman learning experience or things to that nature. But I'm not aware of too many colleges that go at such a low age. We really think, and this is my personal feeling about it, that we really have to go down into the middle school area and start getting these students at an earlier age to start getting them interested in their educational future.
Well, and that was the whole philosophy when we developed Pioneer Tech Camp 3 summers ago, was we really said we have got to reach out to our youngest minds in this community and start building that entrepreneurial mindset, giving these students the entrepreneurial building blocks, that computer coding, skill set, and the robotics, because that's really where we're headed.
It's the future.
I'm telling you, I walked out of a meeting to come and do the show tonight. We were talking with a high-tech firm down in Stewart that uses 3D scanning to inspect precision parts. And I'm telling you, we had a discussion in the beginning of the meeting about robotics and how robotics is. There are companies out there now, and the scary part of this. The flip side to this is people are unfortunately losing jobs because we're replacing folks with robotics. So, but again. What your program is doing is introducing these students to the future.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the more skill sets we give them, then if there is a unemployment rate that jumps up from time to time, and we know that always happens, then they have the skill sets available to them to cross-reference and go into other programs or careers that they need to go into.
Okay, so it is called The Quest, and you too can be part of this exciting summer program at Indian River State College. Students will explore exciting career paths, including public service, biotechnology, digital media, and health sciences. The students get to take tours. They get help using the technology to access and research career information. You take them down to the career and transition department, and they get to research career information, and the students get really a bird's eye view, an early view of where they may head with their career.
And last but not least, I'll say with it too, is I love when I hear students say college doesn't seem so scary anymore.
Right.
Like I said before, they know they're going there eventually, but they're terrified of high school already. So college is just, oh my gosh. So it's nice to see that.
Yeah.
Well, if they've already seen it, you're right.
Great point.
Yeah.
It does really, that's a great point. Really remove some of that fear
Exactly.
and anxiety that students might have about college. Nick, great work, great program. You better be careful about this program. I have a funny feeling you may be running 6 weeks of this thing or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That's right. All right. We want to thank everybody for tuning into another segment of Startup Talk. Thank our guest tonight, Mr. Nick Brown, with the Career Pathways Initiative at Indian River State College. Again, remember all these programs can be found at that irscbiz.com site. You can get more information at the irsc.edu site, too, the main site for the college. So, as always, I want to thank Greg and our partners here at WPSL and WSTU. I want to thank our sponsor, Express Printing of Port St. Lucie and the SBDC, and Michelle Abaldo and her team at IRSC's Office of Institutional Advancement. And with that, we'll sign off and look forward to talking to you again next Thursday on Startup Talk.
And I guess we'll see you tomorrow at the Port St. Lucie Civic
That's
Center,
right.
huh?
I get a quick couple hours of sleep, and then I'm back on the air at 6 a.m. with you tomorrow.
Nick, you don't have to wake up.
Yeah.
All right. That's all right.
Yeah.
You can sleep in. All right. That does it, guys. You're listening to Startup Talk right here on WPSL, Port St. Lucie, and WSTU, Stewart, Florida.